I have in here um, all the photographs from many years of travelling when I could still afford it. And as you can see, one of the places I was in my many travels was Israel. It's not something I look at a great deal. Um, I met a friend in Brazil in 2003, perhaps. I won't show you her face. I don't think she'd appreciate that. But I met her. I didn't arrange this, by the way. This was on the top. And we became friends in January of 2003. And she invited me to Israel, where I took a camera and took many pictures. A lot of the pictures were damaged, but we still have a few. Again, my memory's very rusty. I looked a right glake, but she was good enough to show me around a lot of historical points in Israel. Yeah, I looked like a right idiot at the time. That's me when I was in my 20s. That was 20 years ago. I'd have been 26. Being an idiot. This is some sort of archaeological site. It's obviously I've brought this out now because of the memories that this is brought about. The lady whose face you didn't see before is called Marav. Now, I'm going to fully own up to the fact that I wasn't the best guest, and Marav wasn't particularly happy with me when I left. I won't go into details. It was my fault, so we'll leave it at that. But that, just because she wasn't nasty to us, but she more or less, after a few emails, she made it clear that she didn't really want to stay in contact with me, and I did my best to. Again, I look like a tit. I was being an idiot. I was. It didn't mean that I held it against her, and I do hope that she's alright, and she lives in a place called Chut, I believe it's called. It's 20 years, my memory's very bad. And I spent a week and a half going around all these lovely places in Israel. It's not just like a desert like a lot of people say it. These are all pictures of just the countryside. I've been keeping myself busy. I've had work. I've been doing music this evening. But I've tried to keep. I've got these. There was no digital cameras at the time, although it just coming out, so I had a very old Canon camera. You can actually see it. I might get it down so you can see it later when it's a bit more appropriate. But I do remember the trip very fondly, apart from obviously all the shit that went on. I haven't looked at these in years. It's difficult because I've got no way of contacting her. I did have her email, but it's either been lost or my emails just don't last. And here we are. The churches, the streets. I went to quite a few places, so I can't really remember. Sorry about that light. This, I believe, was Jerusalem. Just walking up and down. Lovely, lovely place. Everybody was very friendly. It was a. I'm gonna try and get this. Just a second, please. I'm sorry. I'm not editing this. I really don't have the heart for this. This is. That's obviously I see it's obvious. I don't know what the fucking is. A memorial wall. We had a day. We rented a car and we just went everywhere. We went to Svat. We went to Haifa. All of these other places I'd never heard of before. And I'm left wondering what's become of her. Her and our mate. This was a tank museum, by the way. I don't think we want to look at tanks at the minute. Fascinating to me, but she wasn't there. But she had a friend, a frat, show me around the tank museum. Here's an I didn't know I took this. I did some capoeira when I was there. This is the group I did capoeira with. It was a bad turnout because the basketball was on that night. Basketball is what a lot of people watch in Israel. No, we don't want tanks. Oh. Yeah. I'm not doing very well here, but I hope you'll forgive me. So, yeah. It's difficult knowing there's nothing I can do. Very difficult. This was in Jerusalem near the Wailing Wall. There was still a lot of trouble. The Wailing Wall, you had certain entrances that you were and weren't allowed to go through depending on your denomination. This is the guard to the gates into the square, where the Wailing Wall was kind enough to stand for a photograph with me. You'll notice that they keep their truncheons on their back just so basically they can get it out and swing it at the same time, and that was not overkill. There was a lot of trouble. But it's a beautiful place. Now, obviously, I can't show anything of Gaza because the wall is. We weren't allowed to take pictures of the Wailing Wall, so I put a zoom lens on and did it anyway. Basically, I'd just like to point out it wasn't the Israelis, the Jews, that stopped me from taking these pictures. It was other elements. But this is what we've got now. My previous girlfriend Jenny, who I didn't know until she mentioned it when Brexit was decided on in the UK. She expressed concern because she'd already noticed a slight racial prejudice against Jews, and I didn't realise she was Jewish or part Jewish until she said that. And then I looked over, and I hadn't been looking for it before, but then I saw that she actually had Jewish features, which is difficult to explain. Which, of course, doesn't mean anything to me. I couldn't give a shit. I believe these pictures are of just fat. It was a lovely place, though. And now, of course, all hell's broken loose, and I just empty platitudes are the only thing I seem to be able to offer, and to sit here and look through old photographs which predate much, but I don't know. It's a very trying time. Not for me, obviously. I'm just sitting here feeling a bit grumpy. If I wasn't miserable about this, I'd be miserable with something else. But for those in Israel, for those in Palestine, who will have to reap the I bought as a thank you gift to for letting me stay with her. I bought her a stuffed giraffe at the airport, and she called it Anna, and it travelled everywhere with us. There's Anna the giraffe in her bag, and it was quite the joke. We used to put it in the back seat and then put the seatbelt on it. Just took that picture purely because there was a small lizard there. Oh, enough. So, I wish I could say something clever. Or something comforting. But it's frankly beyond me at the moment. This is gonna get worse before it gets better. And the Israelis don't fuck around. Neither apparently to Hamas. And I curse the day God allowed them to exist. But the Israelis, shall we say, at least when I have, from what I've heard, is they don't, if they're retaliating, they don't fuck around. I learned a modest amount of the history of the war. Funny story is I came over there and our mother greeted me. She lived with her parents, and she was very cordial, very, very welcoming. And then it says, "Oh, you just come at the right time. It's nearly Independence Day," and me knowing nothing of the area, I said, "Who were you made independent from?" And she went, "You lot." I went, "Ah, okay." And when the anthem came on for Independence Day on the television, we were all required to stand throughout the anthem, and I don't begrudge that at all, but it gives you an idea perhaps of the patriotism. So yeah. There's a very good chance she lives in Tel Aviv, and there's a very good chance, she's at least affected by this. Obviously, she'll be affected by it, but I just wanted to get it off my chest. I can't say anything other than that. Thanks for your indulgence.